Welcome to the first video of a series on child trafficking, state abduction and judicial kidnap. I don't know what else to call them because that's what they really are. I'd like to kind of define child trafficking as when a child has been removed from its rightful place and somehow money has changed hands. State abduction, basically when there is unlawful removal of a child by government. And why am I doing this series? We've published about over 100 articles on Gumshoe News on the failings of the family court and failings of the judicial system to protect children. I can honestly say the family court and the child protection system is not really broken as many advocates might put forward. I believe it's working extremely well and as intended and as designed. The out-of-home care is a multi-billion-dollar business and it is flourishing. It's growing all the time and no money is spent to repair family, to heal society, heal connections. It seems to be put forward to removing children and creating a business of child care out of the family. So we do understand that children are most vulnerable when under the care of government or an institution. And when you break up family and you force people apart, this destroys the very fabric of society. And it is so destructive and so brutal that it's difficult to imagine the pain, grief and distress that is caused by people pretending to do the right thing. So let me go back to discussing about the separation of a child from his parents, and specifically the mother. The mother gave birth to the child, and there is a intrinsic bond that is so easily broken and has become a new normal. It's become the new normal to separate a child from a parent and decide, well, we need to supervise this contact now. Let me be clear, I'm not talking about cases where there is a desperate need to protect that child. But what I'm talking about in this instance is where it seems that the corruption of the police, child protection department staff, and the judiciary allow the kids to be removed from the protective parent. And as we'll go through the series, we'll understand what a pedophile is, what a torturer is, and what a pedophile enabler is. There are many categories of people who abuse children and those who exploit children. So we'll get to that. But let me discuss the first part of separation. And I'm going to go to a snippet of Sophie's choice. We know in this movie that we've set up that this is a brutal Nazi regime. And the whole movie is about the separation of a daughter from her mother. And this officer gives Sophie a choice. And she eventually chooses. And her daughter is taken away from her. If you think this is a sad little episode, you have to understand what is happening here in Australia every single day. Every single day, children are ripped unwillingly from their parents. I've been sent recordings, and there you have a child, 10 or 11 or 12-year-old child, pleading with the protective parent for 10, 15 minutes, begging, pleading, screaming not to be sent away as the court ordered. And you have the sheriff, the court sheriff, saying, I'm sorry, ma'am, but she's got to go, or they've got to go. The court has ordered it. I've seen this hundreds of times, says the sheriff. It's quite staggering that society, that educated people, professional psychologists and psychiatrists that write these reports for $5,000, $10,000 apiece, and judges, that they're prepared to separate these kids so easily. It's quite extraordinary to me that all these people, it almost feels like they are brainwashed, mind-controlled to believe this is normal. When you remove a child, I mean, I've spoken to a neuroscientist, when you break that bond, and all the research shows this, when you break that bond, remove it, it sends the child into trauma. It can actually change aspects of the brain. It causes such distress that, this is fine. And I've seen social workers, psychologists, police openly and maliciously lie to allow this to happen on not one or two cases, but on a grand scale. I basically was left gobsmacked and distraught when you hear these tapes, hear the pleadings of these children. And, you know, I've heard accounts of children running away, desperately trying to get away from the police so that they are not taken back to their abuser. It almost seems that the court is there to make the wrong decision. I know that I'm going to be criticized for this. And obviously there are many cases in good people, good social workers, good psychologists, good judicial officers that do make the right call. But there are a sector of people that are acting like a criminal syndicate. They're acting with the most criminal intent. They are child trafficking. They are unlawfully removing children from their rightful place. And for some reason, no one, no officer, no minister in the land will dare to intervene. This is a powerful structure that's been set in place against the best interests of the children. All I can say is that if you want to hear the truth, then subscribe, hang on, because it's brutal and we need to fix it. And Australia is worse off for this cancer of our society and the erosion of humanity. Life is so fleetingly short, and a childhood is so fleetingly short. It flicks by so quickly. Yet these departments, child protection departments, police, that conceal evidence, judges that ignore the evidence, sometimes order the destruction of that evidence, these people have to answer for their crimes. And hopefully we will expose them in the series. We know from the 8,000 victims that of institutional abuse that to not be listened to and not be heard is as equally damaging than the sexual abuse perpetrated on them. And in this case, it's the same. The abuse of the separation of a child unwillingly from its loving parent is an extreme form of abuse in itself. And this abuse has been sanctioned by the government, by judges, What the hell is going on? Well, we're going to try find out in this series. So I hope you stick with me. The sun's gone down. It's almost black behind me. And I will see you next time.